So, Hare Krishna. So we are reading Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, Karma Yoga, verse number 28 we finished. So we move on to 29. So I believe there is the verses. So verses from 25 to 29, attached worker and detached worker. Attached worker means what? They're attached to the results, fruitive results. Whatever the work they are doing, they're attached. Pretty much they would be attached to both work and the results. So there are karma kandis. And karma yogis would be detached worker. They would be detached themselves from the results. So 25th verse 26 we already covered. And then 28, 29. Okay, 25 to 27 we covered it already, and 27th verse was the important verse where prakriti kriyamanani guna karmani sarvashaga. So that verse will tell people how we think that we are the doers, because we usually, so just put it in a nutshell. If I am successful in particular activity, say I want a cup, winning cup or something like that. If I am successful in any activity, then I would think that it's because of me that I have won this game, or I have successfully completed my academics, whatever it is. I would think that it is because of me. And when there is some failure, if there is not a success but rather it's a failure, then I would think it's not me. I have put my effort. I don't deserve this failure. In fact, I actually deserve success only. This failure is because of Deva. And this failure is because of Deva. It's a destiny, and they complain. It's God. It's God who actually failed me, even though I don't deserve it. And it's not me. Or sometimes what we do, if we don't blame the God, we blame someone else. Would say, oh, it's because of my child who interrupted me and I was not able to study, or it's my manager who was not supportive in my career, so I was not able to get promotion. So things like that, we try to blame others, or even God, thinking it's him or her who did not give me that opportunity or who failed me, etc., etc. So that thinking like that itself is ego thing, false ego, false identity. We think we are connecting with the body, and then we are thinking they are also the body. So therefore we are connecting ourselves with the designations that we hold, whether I am a mother or a father, or designation like manager, anything like that. So when we get out of that conditioning, then we will understand who is the real doer. Okay, like the material nature is facilitating, and Krishna is the final approver or sanctioner of any activity that we do, and we are doing because we have the desire to do, and we are doing. But it's not that we are the only doer. There are other doers also, like material nature facilitating and Krishna approving, like that. Okay, so 28, 29, it's person who is in knowledge. Tattvavit means the absolute truth. So the person in knowledge of the absolute truth understands that he is separate from the senses and the sense objects, and does not engage in sense gratification, knowing well the differences between work in devotion and work for fruitive results. He never disturbs the ignorant. So Krishna already told someone who is in ignorant condition, do not disturb them, otherwise they get agitated, their mind will get agitated, they might disturb our work also. It's better, unless we are really matured in what we are doing, like in devotion, we wouldn't interfere. Even if we are matured also, sometimes we wouldn't interfere someone's subject, because what happens is, they will end up agitating our activities. Therefore we won't be able to pursue properly in our spiritual goals. Okay, so it's simple as that, whether we are in spiritual or material, anytime we shouldn't disturb others or agitate others. That's a simple rule. Even Krishna will tell, I think, towards the end of Bhagavad Gita, that we shouldn't, uh, the words that we speak, the austerity of speech is, we shouldn't, the speech shouldn't, whatever we spoke, the spoken words shouldn't agitate others. It should be pleasing. It is true. It should be truthful. Like that, he tells how it should be. That is austerity. So he will talk about austerity of mind, austerity of speech, austerity of body, etc. So in that, it will come as well. So therefore, we try not to agitate others. That's already discussed. Because they are in ignorance, they are in mode of ignorance. Only if you are in mode of goodness, you will be you will be receptive. So you will gain the knowledge, you will receive the knowledge as it is, because you are in the mode of goodness. If you are in the mode of passion, that means you will be more, would be thinking, you would be more in, like, in the state of arrogance, not in a receptive mode. Because you are in the mode of passion, you mostly, you think, I know everything. That kind of mood you will have. So ignorance, you don't know that you know or not, because you're totally in avidya. Hmm? Okay. So Prakriti guna sammuda sajjante guna karmashu tan akrishna vidomandan krishna vinna vichalayat. Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge. So this is the verse Krishna is talking about. Do not, do not agitate them, which we already discussed. So we go to the next verse. Krishna likes us. Krishna will tell in Bhagavad Gita that who is very dear to him is one who gives Krishna consciousness to others. Who, that is, that person will be very dear to Krishna. That is there. But at the same time, Krishna here is warning also. Make sure you are not disturbing the ignorant person in ignorant. But in one case, we sometimes have to ignore his message, because mostly when we are preaching, people mostly in ignorance only. We cannot just avoid them and thinking, oh well, he is in mode of ignorance, he won't listen. No, we should try. So Srila Prabhupada went to America, New York City, and he was 79 years old. That time, I think he was 69 years old. So when he went there, the people completely in mode of ignorance, they were hippies. Actually, hippies, like, they are in drug only, they are all on drugs. So they don't know what they are doing. They were revolutionists, and they just were against everything. It's not because of some knowledge they had, it's more like because of lack of knowledge, spiritual knowledge. They wanted something more blissful. They were not interested in normal things that people were doing. And so they were, only thing is, they were engaged themselves in a gambling, intoxication, illicit sex, and what other thing, meat eating. So pretty much they were doing all, they were breaking regulative, four regulative principles every day. So that's something normal for even people not hippies. They are also doing the same, but they were more into drugs also. They were like mostly semi conscious only, not fully conscious of anything they were doing. So Prabhupada, when, see, we are in mode of ignorance for sure, because we are not fully in Krishna consciousness. At least we are trying to come to mode of goodness. We are understanding, okay, we can discriminate. This is mode of goodness, this is passion, this is ignorance. We can discriminate. But there are so many people out there, they don't even know how to discriminate. What are the three modes of material nature? So that people who are in normal condition, they are not in full drugs or anything. They can understand, but still they don't know. Correct? But then what to speak of people who were like hippies back then, 1960s. So, but Prabhupada did preach to them. That means Krishna's rules sometimes can be broken by Prabhupada's, Krishna's devotees. They mainly because to fulfill Krishna's mission, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, in that sense. Okay, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to give this bhakti to everywhere, all nooks and corners, because people were so much in, the Kunta means suffering. They're so much in suffering. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu want them to go, take them to Golaka Vrindavan, not even Vaikunta. Vaikunta means the place where there is no suffering. Okay. Okay. So the next verse is 30. Mayi sarvani karmani sanyashidi atma chetasa nirasir nirmamo bhutva yudyashva vigata jwaraha. Translation. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. So Arjuna is now given clear instruction from Krishna that just fight. Okay. So here, Mayi Sarvani Karmani. So, whatever the activities you're doing, right? Whatever the activities you're doing, just do it for me, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me. That means what? Krishna consciousness. Hmm? And without desire for anything like profit, what will happen to my activity? So, Arjuna's activity is fighting. So, activity for that activity, the results would be what? Death at opposite army or even in his same army, same side, or and then winning or losing the battle, and winning or losing the kingdom, and then what happens with the outcome, for the future of the children who've lost their fathers or grandfathers or other relatives, the male relatives in this war, what will happen to the future generation, etc., etc. There are so many things, network connected with one another, right? So in that sense, how will we see if one problem, there is a problem, the Duryodhana party is not giving the kingdom right that is rightful for Pandavas. The Kauravas are so envious of Pandavas, and even Dhritarashtra was supporting this, you know, this idea of battling and etc. for the land, for the piece of land. They are all fighting against each other, and this idea was not appreciated by Pandavas at all. That's why Krishna went as a Santitud, peace messenger, but still it didn't work out. Duryodhana was very stubborn, and he was full of arrogance, correct? And that was due to avidya, lack of spiritual knowledge. And because of that, the fight became evident, that it has to go ahead. And Arjuna was not happy, but now Krishna is giving all this knowledge and telling what? Arjuna, fight. Don't worry about those results that we discussed in chapter 1, that was discussed by Arjuna. He was telling all the things like, what will happen to Kula, the strees, like women in the Kula. So the dynasty will be destroyed. I don't want to be the cause for that. And again, he is now thinking, Arjuna was thinking like he is the doer. No, he's not the doer. Okay, he is supposed to be executing the instructions of Krishna. That is what we should do. Okay, we should simply execute the instructions of Krishna. What is it? What are his instructions? The instructions are throughout Bhagavad Gita, and one is here also. Don't get attached to the results of the activity or the activity itself, thinking I am the responsible person for this activity and this is the result. I am the one, deserve this result and let me take it. No. And free from lethargy also. So don't worry all that, don't get hung up on all of these thoughts or ideas. Just fight. So that is Krishna's advice. So it is like an example given. The cashier may count millions of dollars for his employer, but nothing belongs to him. I work for the bank, right? And in my previous team, I used to transfer funds for the clients. And when I do that, not transfer funds, yeah, transfer funds, withdraw money from one thing to another. So when I used to do that, I can handle like millions of dollars from one account to another, but I can't touch it. In one sense, I can't have ownership, proprietorship for that. I'm simply working for the bank, and it's fully like virtual, right? So I can't even physically touch the money or own the money, even if it is physical. Even if I'm working in the branch and I'm handling money, it doesn't still belong to me unless it is my salary, correct? So this is an example analogy given. The cashier may count millions of dollars for his employer, but nothing belongs to him, nirmama, and thus he does not claim a cent for himself, nirasir. Similarly, one has to do his prescribed duty for the Lord without reluctance, vigata jwaraha. Not knowing that nothing in the world belongs to any individual person, but everything belongs to the Supreme Lord, Mai, that will lead one to the path of liberation. Isa Vashyam Idam Sarvam. There is a principle. Taina Daktena Punjitaha. Isa Vashya principle. In Isha Upanishad, there is a verse, first verse. And there it is said that very nicely that everything belongs to Krishna. Everything, of course, he is the supreme enjoyer, supreme proprietor, supreme controller. So when that is the case, when I understand all of these, whatever that happens, I will not be attached to that, correct? Because I know this situation also belongs to him, correct? I have to just act like in a drama, how I would act, I would do my role. Similarly, I should do my role. I shouldn't too hung up with the thoughts of, oh no, this shouldn't have happened, this situation should have been happened differently, I am not comfortable with this idea or situation that happened to me, and I don't deserve these situations. Thinking like that will only put us in full of pressure. Okay, so therefore we just need to focus on just the work and leave everything, the results and the ownership, everything to Krishna only. Okay, all right. So the next verse, we'll move on to next verse. And we in Ishavasya principle, there is another point also. We should take only what is our quota. Everyone has our quota, right? So we shouldn't be, intruding someone else's quota. So thinking, oh, I can enjoy that also. Let me take that quota also. No, we shouldn't do that. So 31, verse number 31. Ye me matamitam nityam anutistanti manavaha shadavanto anushyanto muchyante muchyante tepi karma bihi. Translation: those persons who execute their duties according to my injunction and who follow this teaching faithfully without envy become free from bondage of fruitive actions. So, Krishna clearly saying karma means what will happen to the karma, every karma, that is activity you perform, the action, there will be a result. And when there is a result, you have to either suffer or enjoy, right? There will be, 50-50 probability, correct? So, it could be success or failure, whatever the activity you have done, and because you have been successful from that activity you perform, you will have to enjoy. That is then now see, there is a bondage because you enjoyed, you end up doing another activity and there is a result for that activity, and then it continues, the cycle continues. That means there is a bondage, it doesn't end. So at one stage what happens, you cannot enjoy or suffer in this lifetime. Then what happens, what to do, then take birth again. Oh, okay. And then again you continue because you don't end up only reaping the result, suffering or enjoying that particular result. You will continue to do another activity. From that activity, there is a result. From the result, you do another activity. It continues again. Then you take another birth. This will cycle will continue, birth and death cycle. Correct. So how do we get out of this? Now Krishna is giving you the option, not option. He is giving you an instruction and the result also. So what will happen to one who just follow his instruction? What is his instruction is, just stick to your duty, just do your duty, don't attach to the profit or proprietorship. He already told that because of you have done that, executed as per my injunctions, but do that with faith and without envy. Okay, that also there. Okay, no, you should not be attached to profit and should not claim your proprietorship. Okay, and do it faithfully, do your work with faith and without envy. Without envy towards Krishna or anybody. Okay, so and one second, let me check this. Are you making this now? Okay. All right. So then what will happen? The result will be free from that bondage, which is very nice, right? So then we don't have to worry about cycle of birth and death because Krishna will take care of that bondage problem. That means liberation. Okay, so even from karma yoga we can be liberated. But the thing is, even karma yoga you need to do with faith and devotion. Shraddha vantaha. So faith and devotion you need to do, not just, and without envy also. Do you want to try this verse, Sushma?
Yes, Mataji. ये त्वा इतद् अभ्यस्युयन्तो नानुत्तिष्ठन्ति मे मतां सर्वज्ञानविमुद्धांस्तं विमुद्धांस्तन् विद्धि नास्तन् अचेतसा. But those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection.
So, what happens if you do not follow Krishna's instruction? So, if you become envious and you're not faithful and no devotion, you disregard Krishna's teaching, then what happens is to be they are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. So they will not be able to be liberated. They will have to continue to take birth again and again. So perfection of life is what to attain Krishna Piraim. Okay, but they don't know that. First of all, they don't know that part, that knowledge, ultimate goal. Not everyone knows, correct? So even when we practice devotion, we sometimes forget what is our ultimate goal. Sometimes we forget about it and we go after something else. And then we have to take a U-turn and come back again from the starting point. So that is not good. With the devotion also, we need to have clear understanding of, okay, this is the path. I want to achieve love for Krishna. Am I loving Krishna from my heart? No, not yet. Okay, let me follow the rules and regulations that is quoted in the Shastras by Acharyas, which is ultimately coming from Krishna's injunctions only. Let me follow those instructions. Can I do that? Can I chant every day? And can I avoid eating meat and illicit sex, gambling, and intoxication? Can I do that? Can I do that regularly? That is another word in quotation. Can I do that regularly? Means every day. Okay, if I do that, what happens is my heart will slowly start to get purified. But hearing is very important. Chanting and hearing are very important, equally important. So chanting individually, collectively, that is Harinam Sankirtan, right? So when we attend Kirtan in the temple or some in houses, so what we do, Grahasthas, so there are four ashrams, right? Brahmachari, Grahasthas, and Vanaprasthas, and Sannyas. So when we are in Grahastha ashram, that is after marriage life, that is the marriage life is Grahastha ashram. We face so many things, in our life. There are so many responsibilities and problems and etc. So regularly what we should do, we invite Vaishnavas, the devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness nicely, and we invite them to our house and allow them to speak Krishna Kada. Okay, we should do this every, Srila Prabhupada's father used to do that almost every day. Invite Vaishnavas and feed them and tell them, ask them, request them to bless Prabhupada to become a nice devotee. And Krishna's father Nanda Maharaj also used to do that. And when sages come, they feed them every day, invite them and feed them in their house and get blessings and request them to bless Krishna also. See, this is Vedic culture. So we invite practicing devotees who could be brahmacharis in the temple or sannyas, but sannyas they might not come because they have higher responsibilities. They might not be able to come and visit every houses, but brahmacharis might be able to. Even they are busy in giving Krishna consciousness to others. But we can try. We can try or invite other grahastha families who are in an advanced stage, invite them to our homes and then feed them nice prashadam and seek their guidance, what I should do, what level I am. We should introspect ourselves, what level am I at right now. Am I progressing in spiritual path, or am I at the same level as before, like 3 years ago or 4 years ago? Am I interested in doing this? Can I understand? Do I fully understand? Am I convinced this is the right path that I should follow? Then ask questions yourself and see where we are at, and then ask guidance from the senior Vaishnavas and get get the instructions. Okay, now I am at level 1 now, whatever level it is, level 1 or level 5, whatever. And where should I go from here? Like, what is the next stage? How should I progress? So these are the things that we should do constantly, whether we are in advanced stage or beginning stage, doesn't matter. We should do this constantly, because bhakti is unlimited. You cannot say at one stage that now I have reached unlimited bhakti or the peak of bhakti. No. So it can keep going. It's ever increasing, everlasting bhakti is. So therefore, and it is eternal. And it's not it's going to end at this lifetime. No, it's not like that. It will continue forever. Therefore, we can always learn. Even if we are in advanced stage, we can still invite the senior devotees. There are always seniors to us, correct? So we can invite them and then feed them nice prasadam with full heart and seek instruction and apply. Not just seeking instruction and then once they went, they gone, and then you just wash your hands and do your stuff. No, you will have to apply that. That is more important. Jnana, vijnana. Jnana means knowledge, getting knowledge. Yes, that is there. And vijnana means realization. You have to realize and apply also practically. That is sadhana bhakti. If you don't do that, then no, it's waste, time waste only. Okay. And if we do not follow the teachings, what happens? Krishna is saying, or if you do Krishna consciousness karma yoga, then you will be liberated. And if you don't, then whatever endeavor you make to become perfect, it will be ruined only. There is no hope. No hope at all. That's what Krishna is saying. And verse number 33. Sadrasam chestate svashayah prakartirjnanavanapi prakartim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. Translation. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has occurred from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? Verse number 33. So this is Nigraha Kim Karshiti. So even a man knowledgeable of scriptures act according to his own nature occurred from the three modes. See, Duryodhana and then Ravana, they are very well versed in scriptures. It's not that they don't know scriptures, they don't know Vedas. No, they know Shastras very well. And Dharma Shastra, Artha Shastra. It's not that he doesn't know Duryodhana, but he doesn't want to follow. Okay, so that is how much the pride, anger, greed, envy, lust, and illusion have clouded his mind. His mind was full of those anarthas. Therefore, he was not able to see through the real nature, the real necessity for the life. So he thought by acquiring kingdom, he'll be successful, he'll be happy. And then what? What is after that? He didn't care about all of those things. So that is said here. Why? Because he was acting in the mode of passion and mode of ignorance. Tamaguna and Rajaguna, he was mostly in Rajaguna, right? And therefore, even though he had knowledge, he didn't want to act on it. So that's an unfortunate situation. So limitation of karma jnana is the scriptural instructions nigraha of nishkama karma yoga can purify and enlighten the impure hearted. The scriptural instructions of jnana yoga can purify and enlighten the pure hearted, but neither can purify the extremely impure hearted people. Okay, so if you follow karma yoga, and if you follow the scriptural instructions, if you follow karma yoga through karma yoga, then what happens? Your heart gets purified, and you progress to jnana yoga, and your heart has become pure, because now you understand the senses and sense objects, and you should not be attached to the sense object or senses and mind. So you understand all of those factors, which is good. You are now because now your heart has become a little pure, and now you again follow scriptural instructions, and then again you get more enlightenment, again more purification happening. That's good. But what if you're ultimately 100% you're so fallen? Then karma yoga or jnana yoga cannot help. Bhakti yoga only can help. So we already discussed, I think, the story Jahai and Madai in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Chaitanya Charitamrita. It comes that how Jagai and Madai were so fallen, and they did all bad things. They broke all four regulative principles. They did gambling, intoxication, illicit sex, and what is that? Meat eating, everything they did. And they also abused Vaishnavas, who would come and knock the door, like Nityananda Prabhu, who is none other than Balaram. He went and told them, they were sitting outside of the door and just doing all this gambling stuff and drinking alcohol and eating meat and then having prostitute in their homes. So they did everything. And when Nityananda Prabhu said, please chant Hare Krishna, who chant the holy names of the Lord Hari, one of the guys, attacked him with the broken glass. He broke the bottle and then, hit him on the head, and he was started to bleed. Nityananda Prabhu, after hearing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and became very angry and about to send Sudarshan Chakra. But Nityananda Prabhu stopped and said, if we have to kill, then we have to kill entire Kali Yuga people. We are here to give mercy, because Kali Yuga people are so degraded. Manda, Sumanda, Madayo, so they are so much degraded. We cannot kill everybody. We are not here for that reason either. We are here to give Krishna Prema. We wanted to give Harinam to as many people as we can, so they can get love for Krishna. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped from what he was doing, then hugged those two guys, then they became devotees. So, only through bhakti, but there was no examples of where karma yogi, when someone was so fallen and practiced karma yoga and became like that, got the pure love of Godhead. No, you will progress for sure, but not to the level of bhakti yoga. Okay, 34. इन्द्रियस्य इन्द्रियस्यार्थे रागद्वेष विवशतितः विवस् विवस्थितौ तयो न वशम् आगच्छेत् तौ हि अस्य परिपन्थिनौ. There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion, because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realizations. Okay, so we have to follow the regulative principles. There are regulations on how to there are principles on how to regulate these things, like attachment. You shouldn't be too attached to something or too averse of something also. Okay, you should be neutral. You should be that is Siddha Pragya, that kind of stage. But it is hard for everybody practically to follow. But if we practice Bhakti Yoga, we will be able to understand, okay, I shouldn't be too much attached on this, or hate, Raha Dvesa, too much attachment or too much aversion. Neither is not good. But even not too much, but even the attachment and aversion is not good only, basically. Then what to speak of too much? Okay, so attachment means in being one's senses in contact with their object. Aversion means hatred for those that obstruct one's sense enjoyment. Okay, so sometimes we see advertisement, TV advertisement or something, or we go on the road, streets, there are some advertisement, then we get attached. Oh, I want to buy this, and we feel the mind will trick you as if you will die only if you don't buy this product. And then what you do, end up buying, and then what happens, then the product that you purchased will be very much in spotlight for the first few days in your house, and then it will be gone up, somewhere else in the house, that you will never use it for years. And then again one day when you move house, then you will realize, okay, this is something I purchased and I don't need it and I never used it also. So these kind of things happens because of our mind tricking us, and we are following the mind, not the intelligence. That's what happens. Aversion also, sometimes someone is telling you, no, you should not do this, this is not proper, and you should not enjoy this like this. Then what happens, you become very hatred towards that person also, because they are stopping you from enjoying your senses. That both cases is not good. One should not fall under the control of such attachment or aversion. Sometimes some situation is favorable, sometimes such a situation is not favorable. Sometimes we get attached to such situation that are favorable to our sense enjoyment. Anything that is favorable for bhakti, we should take it. Unfavorable, we should reject it. Okay, that is anugulya patihulyasya varjanam. What is that verse? Forgot. Uh, Anukulyasya sankalpa pradikulyasya varjanam. That means anukulyam I mean, whichever favorable for your devotion, you should take it. And whichever pratikulyam means unfavorable, varjanam means reject it. So it's simple as that. Okay. And then what happens is when but in sense enjoyment case, if you are attached to the sense enjoyment or hating the objects or a situation that is against your sense enjoyment, then it's not good. Okay, so we need to regulate it. Okay, they are why? Because they will become obstacles in the path of bhakti. What happens is sometimes someone is doing something and you become envious of them and you start to hate them also because they are doing better than you do. Okay, so that kind of mood also is very dangerous for us from progressing into our path of bhakti. Okay, so in this verse, Krishna will tell, just do your duty, don't imitate others. Okay, Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swa anushtitat swadharme nidanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha. It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, then another duties perfectly. Distraction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another duties, for to follow another's path is dangerous. So Krishna, because Arjuna wanted to become a Brahmana, he's a Kshatriya, he wanted to go live in the forest and live by begging. Just maintain his livelihood simply by begging alms. So that means he wanted to become a Brahmana, and he also wanted to forgive those opposite party. These all indicating that he pretty much wanted to live his life, rest of his life, as a Brahmana. But what is his nature? To be a Kshatriya. Okay, and he was born as a Kshatriya, but that's not important. Guna karma. What is it? Guna karma vibhasha. Chaturvarna maya shisham guna karma vibhasha. So it's not by birth that you want, it's not that a doctor's son will become a doctor or anything. And even though he was born in a Kshatriya family, it's not necessarily he has to be one. But he was by nature also, he was like acting like Kshatriya. Therefore, definitely he is a Kshatriya. Okay, he was born in a Kshatriya family and he was practicing Kshatriya duties. Therefore, he is Kshatriya, but he wanted to become a Brahmana. Okay, indirectly he's telling he wanted to become a Brahmana. That means instead of doing his own duty, he wanted to do someone duties. And now Krishna is chastising Arjuna. See, you wanted to do Kshatriya duty, even though you do imperfectly, still do that one instead of going to Brahmanical and then do Brahmanical duty perfectly. Because what happens, your nature is not Brahmanical. Therefore, you will fall down from what you're doing, and then you'll have to come back to your original status, which is Kshatriya, being a Kshatriya. So that will be an obstacle for you from progressing, and it's so dangerous also. Please don't do that, and just do your duty only, prescribed duty, whatever your prescribed duty, just do that only. And sometimes you have to be violent, sometimes you have to be, for Brahmana it has to be non-violence. So it will contradict, and you will become mental only if you can't do your natural instincts. You can't follow your natural instincts, and you feel like, no, I don't, it's not me, I don't want to do that. Sometimes, if I am an artist and I wanted to paint, but I'm sitting in a computer, in front of the computer, I wanted to type something, and then one day I feel frustrated that thinking, no, this is not what I wanted to do. And but mostly this Kali Yuga, we are all doing the jobs that we don't like to do only. But that's different case. But whatever the job we will be getting, we will not like it only. Okay, only Krishna conscious, only Bhakti, we will everyone enjoy it, like Harinam Sankirtan, like that. Okay, so I'll stop here. Any questions, Sushma?
No, Mataji, all good. Thank you.
No problems. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol Mataji.
Hari Bol. And if you have any questions related to